Hello class, in this particular lesson, we are going to talk about the understanding the rationale in research paper. So this is the first part of your chapter 1. So we will talk specifically about the rationale. So again, welcome everyone to today's lecture on the significance of rationale in research paper. So in this session, we will delve into the essence of rationale and its importance in research and how to effectively articulate in your academic papers. So we will answer first, what is rationale? The rationale is the foundation upon which a reason study or the research study is built, and it provides the reasons behind the research. And it's also explaining why the study is important, why the study is relevant, and why the study is worth conducting. So, in essence, it serves as the justification for the entire research endeavor. So, in your rational part, this is the part in which you are going to mention to tell the readers why this study is important, why the study is relevant, and why this study worth conducting. Okay. So that is the other term for rationale is the introduction. So you need to mention that why you would like to conduct the study, why it is relevant. Okay. So now I'm going to talk about the importance of rationale. Why the rationale is important for your academic papers. The first one is it is a guiding purpose. Okay, so the rationale it defines the purpose of the study. So you need to put all the information why the study is very important, and it will serve as a guide for the researchers on your exploration of a particular topic or problem. Okay, one of the importance of rationale, it is a guiding purpose. The second one is the contextual understanding. So it helps you to situate the research within the broader academic, in social or practical context, enabling your readers to grasp its significance. Okay, so that is the second one. The third one is justification for research. So a well-articulated rationale, it will persuade readers of the researcher's importance. Okay, the importance, why you're going to conduct this study, the validity also, and also the potential impact of your paper. And you will just to also to justify the allocation of resources and efforts. The fourth one is avoiding redundancy. Okay, again from the word research, it means that there is you search something from the previous study, but you made some modification. So one of the purpose of rationale is to avoid redundancy. What do you mean by avoiding redundancy? So by clearly outlining the gaps or the shortcomings in existing literature, so the rationale ensures that the research adds meaningful insights rather than duplicating previous work. So one of the important parts of the rationale, you need to mention the gaps. Okay. So if you found out that there is a gap, that's the reason why you were going to conduct the study. So later on, I'm going to share to you the sample rationale from the previous academic paper of the fourth year. Okay. And then the fifth one is the enhancing credibility. So a strong rationale, it will enhance the credibility of the research. If you have this strong rationale, again, it will enhance the credibility of your research. So the rationale also will demonstrate the researcher's thorough understanding of the subject matter. and your ability to address the pertinent issues. So again, for the summary, in your research paper, in the part of your rationale, you're going to discuss why your study is important, why your study is relevant, and why your study is worth reading. And then you need to mention the gaps or the identified problems that you observe. Okay? And then also, it is important that you need also to discuss the issues. Okay? Again, what's the reason why you want to conduct the study? Because you have observed, you have seen, you have read that there are issues on that particular area. And you're going to conduct this study in order for you to know the reason behind these problems or issues. And you have this at the back of your mind to solve this particular problem. Okay, so that's the importance of having a rationale. Now we will talk about the components of rationale. What are the components of rationale? Number one, you need to mention or to have this background information. So you need to provide a brief overview of the relevant literature and also the theories or empirical evidence that lay the groundwork for your study. You need to mention the background information of your study. The second one, as I have mentioned a while ago, about the research gap. So you need to identify the gaps. Another example is inconsistencies or unresolved questions, and in existing literature that necessitates further investigation. So you can also observe, as I shared to you, the previous manuscript of the fourth year students, HM fourth year students. You have read there in the third chapter, you have seen that they have these conclusions, recommendations, okay, recommendations. And then one of the recommendations is to have this further investigation. Again, the research, it is continuous. Okay, it is continuous. And um, that is why you need to put in the part of the rationale the research gap. There's still a gap or there's still something that needs further investigation. Okay, and then for the third one of the components of rationale is the significance. Why this study is important to be conducted. So you need to articulate the importance and potential impact of addressing the identified research gap, both theoretically and practically. Why this study is important to be conducted. What is the potential impact after you finish your research paper? And then lastly is the research objectives. What are the reasons why you conduct this study? So clearly you need to state the specific aims or objectives of the study by outlining what you intend to achieve through your research. And lastly, articulating rationale effectively. In order for you to have this rationale effectively, I'm going to share to you some tips in order to have this good rationale. The first one is you need to have the clarity and conciseness of your paper. So you need to express your rationale in a clear and concise language. So you need to avoid using the jargon or unnecessary complexity. Please do not use terms, words, phrases that can hardly be understood. You just use the simple words, simple terms in order for your readers to easily grasp the ideas. The second one is logical flow. In order to have this effective rationale, you need to have this logical flow. So you need to ensure a logical progression from the broader context to a specific research problem and guiding readers smoothly through your rationale. That is why when you mention the issues, you need to mention from the um, international areas and then the national, and then you're going to the specific. So from general to specific, just like the inverted pyramid. Okay, that's the important also that you need to have this logical flow. Okay, from broad idea to a specific. Okay, from broad to specific. Also, when you mention the issues from the international areas, okay, to national, and then the specific. So this is one of the important parts or components of your rationale. The third one is the evidence base. You need to mention also or to provide evidence base why it is important to conduct this study. So you need to support your rationale with empirical evidence, theoretical frameworks, or scholarly reference to substantiate your claims. That is why in order to have this also the good rationale, effective rationale, you need to mention, just like for example, you need to present data. For example, there are 70% of the population in the Philippines experience hunger. So there's a data you have mentioned, like for example, a percentage, um, and other things. Okay, there's some data, or you need to have this evidence base, especially on the issue part, in order to have this strong arguments, okay, or strong information or data that will encourage the readers to read your research paper. Okay, and then the fourth one is the engagement with the counter arguments. Engagement with counter arguments. So you need to acknowledge the alternative perspectives or potential criticism, and it demonstrates the nuances understanding of the research landscape. So we all know that all the people, or even all the authors or scholars, would not agree with all the topics. So there is a big possibility that there will be an a arguments or disagreements with the terms or phrases. So we need to engage also with the counter arguments from the other scholars. And then the fourth one is the relevance to target audience. You need to mention the possible target audience or readers of your study. So you need to tailor your rationale to resonate with your intended audience and emphasizing the aspects that most pertinent to their interest or concerns. So it means that you create or you come up with this research paper because you also have this target audience. And lastly, let's proceed to the conclusion part. The rationale forms the cornerstone of research paper. Again, your rationale forms the cornerstone. It's very important. And you need to provide the justification why you want to conduct this study, justification for its existence, and guiding its direction. So, by crafting a compelling rationale, you as a researchers can effectively communicate the significance of your work, why your paper or why your research work is important or significant, especially to your target audience or target readers. Okay, and also it will enhance your credibility and contribute meaningful to the academic discourse. So you need to be serious of your research paper or research work, because this is not just only for the sake of your, it's one of your requirements to proceed to fourth year or to graduate, but also you have this at the back of your mind to help the possible um, people or individual or organizations in order to have this better situation of their lives or organization. So, as you embark on your own research endeavors, remember to thoughtfully consider and articulate the rationale behind your studies. You need to ensure that your contribution will make a meaningful impact in your respective field. Thank you. So now class, I'm going to share my screen and it will show you the example research paper from the previous students. So this example, like this study satisfaction of tourists on the transportation service in Andabohol. So we will check their rationale. Okay, so this is the part in the chapter 1, the problem and its scope, introduction. So this is their rationale part. So we have this first part of their paragraph for the rationale. And now we will check if there is the components of the rationale that we have discussed a while ago. So one important parts here or components is the gaps and the issues and justification why this study is relevant. So we can see here this paragraph. It mentions that in the context of Asian developing countries, so this study mentioned the international issues. Okay, international because it talks about the Asian countries or Asian developing countries, some of their problems. And also we can see here in the national part, over the years, passengers in the Philippines. So it talks about the national aspects. And this side talks about the international. So this is what I have mentioned a while ago about the inverted pyramid. It talks about the broader areas to specific. So from international, Asian, developing countries, to a specific like the Philippines, and it discussed more on the more specific in Anda Bohol. So you see, international, Asian developing countries, national in the Philippines, and in Anda Bohol, the specific areas or place. And then we can also read here, Anda Bohol is a popular tourist destination, so on and so forth. And we see that there is a gap mentioned in this part. In Anda, there's a limited and there is a gap in providing efficient and convenient transportation options for both tourists and locals. So you observe here that the a researcher or the author on this research paper discuss about the issues, the limited and the gap in providing efficient and convenient transportation. So this is their justification why they want to conduct the study. There's a certain issues that they observe. And also in the last paragraph, you can see here, excuse me. In the last paragraph, it's mentioned here that as students at Bohol Island State University Kanday campus, so they have mentioned here their motivation or competency. Why do you want to conduct this study? Okay. So again, this is the part of the rationale. And it is important that it is only, so you need to remember this one, it is only 3 pages maximum. So just like in this paper, we have this page 1, and then this is page 2, and this is page 3. So you are so blessed because you have this old copy from the previous manuscript. You have this guide. Again, 3 pages, rationale. You need to put the what are the important components, the issues, okay, from the international to national and then to the specific place. And you need to mention the limitation, the gaps, the dilemmas, and why you want to conduct, justification why it is important to conduct this study. And in order for you to have this strong rationale evidence, you need to put an evidence or from the previous study or data, just like I've mentioned a while ago. Okay, for example, one of the modes of public transportation that stands out in Brazil It's the bus rapid transport, okay? It's mentioned in the international areas. But I have not seen here for example, the percentage, the data from the previous study or um, situations coming from other countries or international areas. Okay, so I think this is the weak part of this study. It did not mention the data, the evidence base. Only they have mentioned the issues. So I hope that in your research paper, you need to enhance that every components for rationale can be read in your rationale or in your research paper. So if you have any questions, don't forget or just drop it down in our group chat and I will answer it immediately. Bye bye. So in this lesson again, or in this discussion, for this week, you need to um, answer the quizzes via Google form and don't forget to upload also your rationale. 3 pages. Okay? So thank you and see you next week.